Welcome back to the European Darts Open and this clash between Cross and Clayton, a pair of players who have hit the heights in the last couple of years. No greater height hits than that of Rob Cross when he became world champion the year before last. And Johnny Clayton had his biggest moment here on the European Tour, winning the Austrian Open last year. Got the old green jacket, a little tradition in that particular tournament when he won in Graz, and he's had some decent tussles with Rob Cross in the past, not least on his run to the Players' Championship Finals final when he beat Rob Cross before losing out to Michael van Gerwen. Well, van Gerwen still the man to beat this weekend. He'll take on Gerwin Price tonight in the quarterfinals. Mensah Suljovic will take on James Wade, but the winner of this one will meet the unseeded Justin Pipe, who's having a fantastic tournament, embarking on his best run of form since July last year. I'm Chris Murphy, and joining me to talk you through this one is the asset Paul Nicholson.
Yeah, this one shouldn't disappoint because both guys are in form, both guys full of confidence. Rob Cross looks so relaxed in the practice room. I was remarking with Mervyn King in the previous game just how relaxed Rob has been this weekend. He looks energised, fresh,
Ladies and gentlemen,
and practiced.
First leg, it's Johnny to throw first. Game on.
Well, as Dan Dawson highlighted yesterday, Rob Cross is the man, according to the stats, that is playing the best darts in 2019. It has not resulted in any kind of title. However,
140.
he's got a massive chance, surely, this weekend. Justin Pipe, of course, playing very well, and Johnny Clayton is a man who's beaten Rob Cross 4 times. But if Cross plays at the level that he has been so far this year, then a very good chance that he'll win at least through to the final.
100.
Well, the one thing that's changed for me in the last 6 months for Rob is that his darts are coming out at a point of the throw
96.
which is premium. Too often last year he was throwing the dart and it was coming out too late, so the action was a bit shuddery. But now, the way you see the darts going in, they're going in at all the same angle.
100.
And you can see the disappointment in that ton. He doesn't get a 140 from that spot. He is disappointed, and that's a mark of where his game is at right now. And he might need something special to beat Clayton, because he has got a very high level against some of the top dogs in darts.
Certainly has. As
100.
running to Cross 10 times and beating on 4 of those occasions. 180's exchanged. Getting the ball.
60.
Not quite for the ferret, but Rob Cross might have the chance to do that himself.
Yeah, he may need the bullseye if he gets a 60 and an 11. 60 hit. 11 hit. He can't get the ball. So, excellent exchanges at the start of this contest. Who can clean up the best? And the answer to that is Johnny the Ferret Clayton.
Second leg is Rob to throw first.
Johnny was disappointed with his performance yesterday. He was nowhere near his brilliant best
41.
in that win against Adam Hunt, averaging in the mid-80s and twice going out on double one in that match, which is a sign of where your doubling has been.
Well, I had a chat with Johnny after that match, and we've had a few little sniggers in the past about his love for double one, and it really is his favourite. But what comes with that is a real hatred for double two. He was languished on double two a couple of times yesterday, and he just says he's got a mental block about it. He just doesn't like the spot on the board where he has to throw. He just can't find a spot in front of his eye to feel comfortable with it. So it's good that he's got double one in the bag, because he really doesn't like double two. I was talking to Burton DeWitt last night, Murph, about potentially putting a league table together of personal best averages, and obviously the world record belongs to Michael van Gerwen of 123.4. But I was really interested to see the personal bests of other players, especially the likes of Cross and Clayton. Now, Cross's This is obviously unofficial at this point.
140.
But his personal best recorded right now is 117.99, which in itself is an amazing average. The Ferret at 111.05, which proves that he has got a very high level. But it'll be really interesting to see where other players rank in that table, and that's something that we may talk about more through the course of this European Tour season.
Cross looking to rack up the 1-2-3 checkout, and he's got himself a dart at double nine. Easiest 1-2-3 for Rob Cross.
There are checkouts, and then there are checkouts, because that one was the latter. Now, if you think I'm babbling for no reason, that's 3 darts that just didn't look anywhere in doubt.
Yeah, agreed. You mentioned those averages. I thought that Rob Cross's highest average was a match that he lost, but actually I was wrong. It was a match I recall at a Players' Championship in 2017 when him and Peter Wright posted enormous figures. Wright 120 and change in that one, but Rob Cross, well, he only had 109 in that one. So,
was that it?
Yeah, useless. Do you know yours?
I actually don't. I don't even want to know.
I'll have to scour way down the list, Paul, to try and find it. But
I'll give you till the semis to find out and give me some good news. I don't think it's in the 110s. I think it might be 108, something like that.
You're not going to claim one of the fabled 130 averages before the introduction of Dart Connect? And
I did have 220 pluses, but it was before Dart Connect came in.
Yeah, and then you had your second visit in a match.
Oh, the ribbings I get from Mr. Murphy.
174.
Wonderful dart from Rob Cross.
Yeah, 174 to leave 174, but that means that the Ferret can fill his boots.
That'd be a good prize if he won a European Tour. He won a jacket last year. How about one of the European Tours offers you a pair of boots? And now, apparently that is a prize in sport. I'm sure it's for bull riding or something. You get a brand new pair of leather boots.
98.
I have to look into that one. I'm sure Burton DeWitt's probably typing on Twitter right now telling me what it is.
Good knowledge. Good
Double
finish.
12.
Gage on the third leg, Johnny Clayton.
Well, this is a distinct difference to the level that Clayton produced yesterday, because he's in front despite the fact that Rob Cross is averaging well over 100.
93.
There you see, and we're only 3 legs in, but it's a short format, and interesting that you started the match by talking about high averages, because we could see a couple of players going sky high here.
Johnny Clayton has got that knack, hasn't he, of being able to live with a guy who's flying average-wise. There are the averages in this match. That 180's taken Rob Cross north of 110. But there are few players in the world of darts who can live with people who are at this level. Sometimes they can, you know, good players can stick with people doing 100 to 105, but when you go towards 110, it's a slightly different animal that you're playing against. So for Clayton to have that knack says to me that he's got a lot of belief in his ability, and a phrase that I used in the last game, courage of his conviction.
Well, Johnny Clayton also has a knack of putting a string of good performances together on the same day, which is why he's won a couple of PDC titles and gone deep already several times this year. And that's what he said after his match yesterday. It was Saturday's about to get through. Tomorrow he's going to have to play well. That's a champion's attitude as well, isn't it?
Well, it's smart, because you can't win the tournament on Saturday. You can today. But if you boil that down a little bit more, you can't win this tournament in this game. But you can get to the quarterfinals. It's about creating a bubble and being in this moment.
72.
Now, Cross usually goes treble 20 for 6. He will go for double 16. Might have to hit this, because Clayton is looming.
56. Johnny Uruguay 104.
Ferret threatening to break the cross throw. Chooses the same
16.
double.
Gage on the fourth leg, Johnny Clayton.
He just does it really well. There is a point there, Murph, I'm sure, that he was thinking about 20 double 12, because the previous leg, he really did pick that double 12 off very well. I'm just wondering if he was in two minds. Well, he chose, and he chose correctly. That was very Johnny Clayton-esque.
Well, if there is a criticism of Clayton, it's that he's not the greatest counter on the tour. Many times we see him leave 166s and such like when he doesn't have to. It's funny that we, at the beginning of this, mentioned matches in which Rob Cross had averaged well over 100 and lost, because could be on the way to doing something similar. Averaging around 104 and 3-1 behind.
That's happened quite a lot this year, hasn't it?
100.
Michael Smith averaged 112 at a Pro Tour match, which he lost.
Didn't Phil Taylor beat Barneville when he was averaging something like 115?
Yeah, and I believe Barney didn't even top the ton mark in that match and won it in the Premier League. But there is a slight sort of caveat with that it's not necessarily how many darts you use, that's what creates the average, but it's how many visits you use, isn't it?
Correct.
So it's a big difference if you're going out every leg in the last dart in hand rather than the first one.
Ultimately, big averages were built in the Phil Taylor era, where he was constantly taking care of business at the very start of visits. So he was hitting 13 darters as opposed to 15 darters. He was hitting 16 darters as opposed to 18 darters. So his average was climbing because of that. I think everybody's just caught onto that fact over the last few years.
52.
Now, for 4-1, it's double 16 again for Clayton. This is a lethal doubling performance from Johnny Clayton. He gets the double, he hits it. He himself is averaging north of 100, and he somewhat, can you really say it, against form?
100.
Well, Rob Cross may be top statistically, but Johnny has been playing well this year, and this is more proof of that.
Well, it's turning into the same old story for Rob Cross, one of only two men on the tour
60.
to be averaging over a ton in all his matches. He's keeping to that level of performance, and it's looking less and less likely that it's going to convert into a title.
He needs to kick from here, that's for sure, and find a way to get past Johnny Clayton.
What you do have to say about Rob Cross is other players would have bemoaned their luck and then seen their performance levels drop as a result, and that hasn't happened to Rob. And you mentioned at the very start of the match that Rob Cross is playing with freedom. Do you think, Paul, that the shackles have been released now he's no longer world champ?
Yeah, I think so. I think even he said in an interview shortly after the World Championships that now being seen as a former world champion as opposed to reigning world champion just feels different to him. But maybe the shackles are off his opponents as well, because once again Clayton maxes out, but it might not be enough. Is he going to go for it? No, he's not.
135.
Well, James Wade went for it yesterday and hit it. That's the highest checkout we've had in a tournament. Yet to see the big fish. Wade also finished the match this afternoon with a 164 to beat Dave Chisnell convincingly. Cross, a rather simpler checkout in prospects.
Gonna say, don't leave Johnny Clayton on 104 again. It's almost like he knew this double 4 goes, otherwise that 104 is going to be plucked.
Very, very neat and tidy indeed from the pair of them.
100.
What's your thoughts on Johnny Clayton's action? Because I've been studying it for years now, and it's very, I wouldn't say it's unconventional, but it's not along the lines of a Gary Anderson or a Michael Smith. It's not straight up the line. There's something old school about it.
Yeah, it's right. Almost in the middle of the nose, isn't it? Similar to maybe
140.
James Wilson, but without the oomph.
A little bit of Glenn Durrant in there. Just a little bit pacier. But it's very muscle memory, like Joe Cullen. There's a lot of movement of the arm before the throw takes place.
Yeah, to be fair, I think it's one of the very interesting things about the game of darts that makes it so fascinating is no player really throws like any other.
100.
So we can say it's got a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but really it is Johnny Clayton's throw, isn't it?
Yeah, every throw is like a fingerprint. There'll never be one throw exactly like another. There'll never be another throw like Phil Taylor's, even no matter how hard Matt Paget tries.
Well, Clayton, is he going to go for this? I think he would have.
137.
Is this an upset right now?
Well, Johnny Clayton, as I mentioned, has beaten Rob Cross 4 times before, but he hasn't beaten him since that Players' Championship semi-final in 2017. Rob Cross is playing the best darts of anyone, according to the stats.
12.
I think that first dart was a really bad marker, because he hit the flight twice. It was stood right in the way. And now Cross has a little bit of a lifeline. Somebody toss him the little donut from the boat and he'll still be swimming.
Well, this for 127 game for Rob Cross. And you said, Paul, is it going to be an upset? Well, I think it would be an upset if Clayton were to beat Cross, but the question now is, are we going to see an upset? Because Rob Cross is right back in it.
Yeah, it takes a world-class player to rescue yourself in that spot. That was a beautiful finish. 127 in game. Yep,
after the 1-2-3 earlier on, we've seen some lovely checkouts from this pair. Very, very decent game of darts, this.
It's almost a shame that Johnny's north of 40, isn't it? Because if say he was the age of Rob Cross, you know, late 20s, we could look forward to watching Johnny for, 20 years. It's such a shame he got into professional darts a little bit later.
140.
Because he's fabulous for the practice room, he's fabulous for all of the players and the fans, he's a great guy to be around, he's phenomenally talented.
Really is, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him break into the top 10. Top darts from Rob Cross.
Yeah, Johnny Clayton's so good. He doesn't need an H in his name.
60. Robbie require 87.
Will he get a W? It was looking like it, but he missed 3 darts to lead 5-2. And now if Rob Cross can pin his favourite double, we are all square after 8 legs.
That legs Johnny to throw first. Game.
There aren't many players on the planet who would have been able to have this kind of rebound in the last couple of legs. He was given the opportunity. You have to say that. Those misses at double 12 have proved to be massively costly to Johnny Clayton. But the resolve and the class of Cross in the last couple of legs with that 127 out and then that 11 darter just goes to show how good the guy is. Oh, look at that. That is something to behold.
Yep, not a single leg has needed a 6th visit to the hockey from the winning player.
It's almost like they're playing and they're in the knowledge they're not allowed a 6th visit. You don't win in 5 visits, lads. Nobody gets the leg.
Well, that's what Rob Cross has been doing all year, hasn't it? We mentioned that the level of performance that he's been producing over the ton plus average, that's 15 darts legs, isn't it, or better. So Johnny Clayton knew what Rob Cross was going to do because he's been consistent. As we mentioned yesterday with Clayton, he can average 85 just as readily as he can average over a ton.
Michael Bull here. Yeah. Good maths. Here's the fish again. And just to paint a picture for everybody at home who isn't in the know, 15 darts is 100.2. So the fact of the matter is, every time Rob Cross comes to the board, he is 5 visits or less.
Well, he's about to turn this tie around completely, it seems. Clayton was on the brink of sending Cross packing. Could have led 5-2. Could be seconds away from trailing 5-4.
Has that 127 really hurt Clayton? That's the question right now.
Was the 127 the game?
Single 16 for double 18 for a clear target. to deny Johnny Clayton a shot at 1-1-4. 3 legs in a row of pure brilliance from Rob Cross have given him the lead for the very first time. Wow.
Superb stuff from Rob Cross, who didn't seem to like the way the table was set, so in turn turned over the table.
140.
Johnny Clayton's going to think like he's been hit with the kitchen sink factory right now, because
125.
this 3-leg burst from Cross has been brilliant.
It's been a brilliant match, and if Cross can make it a 4-leg burst, then
59.
it'll be the end of the match. But Johnny Clayton, as we know, can still pop up with those big scores. He's done it against Cross in the past. He's done it against Michael van Gerwen.
Cross going to use 18s here. Silly question, really. He's going to stay there. Gets a bucket load of 18s.
62.
And he's going to stay there when he comes back, because that's his shot. 140. He'll go 6 18s for double 16. And if he takes it out, I'll have to tip the old hat.
80.
Yep, it is the Cross signature shots. Can he complete a run of 5 consecutive treble 18s and then find double 16 for a sensational comeback win? Of course he can. Pow from Rob Cross. Wow from Rob Cross. Look at that. 4 ton plus finishes, including the signature shot to win the match. A 140 checkout. A superb turnaround from Cross, who trailed the match by 4 legs to 2, but wins it 6-4. And his designs on winning a first European Tour title are very much intact. He'll play Justin Pipe tonight. We'll be back with a couple more matches. Vandenberg v Gurney, and then Peter Wright against Ross Smith. But Rob Cross moves through to the quarterfinals.
Wir bedanken uns für eine großartige Partie bei Johnny Clayton. Rob, wow, what a game of darts this was. I mean, is this the sort of game that really sets you up well for the coming rounds there?
I have to admit, obviously I was up against it until Johnny missed them 3 a double. I checked the 1-2-7 and then anything possible, and I actually went through the motions there because I didn't feel I started very brightly. I thought it was awful actually, and then I eventually got going when he missed. And don't get me wrong, 5-1 up, Johnny. If that double goes in, I'm going home, and it never went in, and thankful for me that I've got it done.
Er sagte, der Knackpunkt in dieser Partie absolut die 3 Darts, die Johnny Clayton auf die Doppel-12 verpasst hat. Und dann macht er die 127 zum 4-3, um wieder ranzukommen. Would you agree that this was maybe a game that you would have lost last year?
Oh, definitely. I had no backbone last year. No, in fairness, the way I see last year, I'd done a lot of learning last year, and I learned the most what I probably ever learned as a dart player within 1 year that year. But I didn't develop, and now I'm developing, and it's good. Now I can go up there and with all that experience and actually put it in practice, I suppose. Go up there, feel a lot calmer, never panic now, and it's a brilliant place to be. So I really appreciate it, and the German crowd once again was amazing.
Ja, ich habe ihn gefragt, ob das vielleicht eine Partie gewesen ist, die er im letzten Jahr noch verloren hätte. Und er sagt, das ist sehr wahrscheinlich, denn er hat so viel gelernt im letzten Jahr und jetzt kann er das einfach in den Spielen umsetzen. Er bleibt ruhig, er gerät nicht in Panik und er bedankt sich auch bei euch, dass ihr so hinter ihm gestanden habt heute. Wir bedanken uns bei Voltage Rob Cross.